for me. They keep trying to reach me, yeah, yeah. It's the magic for me. I make them weak till they run insane. So get me lit on a weekend. I'm on the way, and my ways on the display. And I'ma shut them all down on the D-Days. It's my time, so put me on the replay.
Hey guys, welcome back to season 5. Well, I know technically I already welcomed you back from our vlog episode, but this is like back at our usual setting, right? I am so excited for this episode. I learned so much from Storm. He's such a brilliant director and really an awesome person. Really excited for you guys to watch and listen and learn and laugh, of course, because what is a Let's Talk the Things episode without laughter? No, I cannot manage ever. So yeah, don't forget, we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. So please remember to subscribe, like, comment, and most importantly, share.
Welcome back to your favorite self-improvement podcast, Let's Talk the Things, where we discuss personal growth, music, travel, and film while encouraging you to live fearlessly and fabulously. So this week, we are talking to things with a film and television director of some of your favorite films and television series like Sprinter, Better Mus Come, and Possession, Storm Saulter. How are you, Storm?
I'm good, I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Good. Of course. So we like to start the episode with a little bit of an icebreaker, and it's called Dat Na Sound Safe. Now, don't be frightened by the name. I'm going to read messages and social media posts that person sent in. And if you think it sounds crazy, you don't agree with it, or a little concerning, you just say that na sound safe and explain why. And if you agree, you just say you agree and explain why. Good fun. It sounds scarier than it is. I promise. All right. The first person said, karma doesn't rush. It watches. It lets people believe they've won, that their actions had no consequences. And when the moment is right, it responds with perfect timing. She's silent, no drama, no warnings, just the outcome that they earned.
I mean, that sounds right.
Yeah.
That sounds quite accurate.
I agree.
Yeah, and I feel like I kind of see that. You know, sometimes you see things in life, not necessarily even with yourself, but other people, and you say, well,
yeah,
you know, maybe them chickens coming home to roost, and yeah.
It's interesting you say that, because I was reading a book the other day, and it was talking about sometimes as persons that have good intentions, you can interrupt someone's karma. Mm-hmm. So, you know, maybe someone can, like you say, be getting their payback for something they did to someone else, and you could be trying to help them. Maybe in your case, you're trying to help them get in a film or something of the sort, but they did something to another director that you weren't even aware of. And so that's why it's just nothing is working out. But maybe you are thinking like, oh, what? This person's so talented. I don't know why people aren't calling them back or why people don't want to work with them. So one, I agree. I think that sounds safe. But two, I think that's also an interesting take, because sometimes in trying to like help someone, you could be getting in the way of their karma. All right. The next person said, a focused idiot achieves more than a distracted genius.
I mean, yeah, but what achieving a lot of foolishness probably. But yeah.
Yeah.
There's definitely something to determination and actually doing stuff than sitting around waiting that gets things done, whether it's good things or foolishness. So
yes, exactly.
I guess I'm saying accurate and not accurate, but I guess in this terms it's safe or not safe.
Yeah.
That sounds safe-ish.
What is that saying that sometimes determination wins over talent? So someone could be really, really talented, but you have someone that's more determined, that's putting in the work, that's going to, you know, in your case, like every audition and really practicing. And someone else could be as talented, but maybe they don't get one job and they're like, forget it. Or, you know, they go in for a role and someone criticizes them. And then they're like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm talented. You know, I don't need your help. Like they're not willing to go that extra mile. then they could be stagnant. So I think that's what this person's saying. So yeah, I agree with that concept. Maybe I would change the verbiage a little bit.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, I
yeah.
agree with that
Me
concept.
too. Sometimes you may not even know the path you're supposed to be on, but the drive that you show might put you in a situation that redirects you to the actual thing that you're good at. Whereas, it's like when I tell people who have ideas for film and they want to
Yeah.
pitch it to me. I'm like, so have you written it down?
Yeah.
Because if you write it down, then I can read the treatment. Oh no, I'm gonna write it, but I don't want to reason with you. But no, if you're not willing to sit down and put it on paper in a short form, you're not willing to spend the years it's gonna take to see it through to the end. So yeah, drive.
Drive and determination. It's very important. It's good when you have both, but that drive, it will get you far for sure. All right, a couple more. The next person said, a clarity that hurts you is better than hopeful confusion that holds you.
That sounds safe, definitely.
Yeah.
It's hard to
Yeah.
face things that are hurtful though. You can waste a lot of years not taking the hurtful step that will free you up. I can speak from experience.
Yeah, so true.
So not everybody's good at confronting certain things, you know what I mean? And sometimes it's just not in your personality.
True.
But it will take then it's gonna take that much longer because it's gonna keep coming back. If it's a door you have to walk through, the door gonna keep back, whether you want to go through it or not,
Yeah, you're gonna have to learn the lesson for sure. Yeah, I agree with that. I think just in general, sometimes we can, like you said, stay in certain situations and think like, if I leave this job or if I leave this friendship or relationship, like they're gonna be sad or I'm gonna be sad or, something like that, but you don't know what's on the other side.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely sound advice.
Yeah.
Okay, the last one, the person said, once you realize that judgment is inevitable, regardless of your choices, you're free to make choices that actually align with your values instead of making choices designed to minimize criticism.
Yeah, that sounds safe.
Yeah.
Because if it's one thing people are gonna do is judge,
Oof.
have opinion, and the more the more you're making an impact, it's just the more it's gonna happen. So yeah,
true.
yeah, for just kind of cut and go through and try to do it. It's easier said than done at times because of the nature of social communication and everything.
Social media has created such an interesting space, I think, right? Because on one hand, it creates this sense of me too. So you could be going through something and think, boy, like, why does this keep happening to me? Or this always happens to me. And then you open up your phone and someone's telling the exact same story, And so you feel like, oh, like this happened to this person too. What did they do about it? So it creates that sense of community. But on the other hand, it creates experts that think the film you created could have been done better and what they could have done. Like people feel the need to express their opinions sometimes on things that they're not well versed in.
Yeah.
Like
experts that don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Exactly. And people don't get it. Like this is people's art. This is a form of their expression that they're sharing. So it's not to say we can't criticize, like everyone can have an opinion, but I think that that's why these conversations are important, because I think sometimes people don't think about the person behind what they're criticizing.
Yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And also, we're in a place where everybody is, you're the driver, and you're in your own head at all times. So we always have it kind of is natural for individuals to feel like they're the center of everything that's going on. That's either something they feed or not into or not. And therefore, when they see things happening in the exterior, it's somehow always related to, they have this way of relating it back to where they stand. Many people take that into a toxic place and become competitive, and then they start to say things based on where they think they stand in relation, especially if you're doing something successful. I mean, we have a thing called bad mind, which exists in other places, but it's like an art form in Jamaica. And what it is people having this social competition, and when you see somebody go yesterday, they're like, okay, they're there. There's a certain amount of envy, jealousy. Let me see if I can cut at their character. So you can't deny that they're doing the thing. They can't deny they're having an impact. But maybe you can say, well, yeah, but they're an asshole. Or but they're this, or but they're that. Or they did
Yeah.
something to get there that I would never do. You know what I mean? That's why I'm not
So
there.
true.
I've been doing this thing for a while. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Then
Yeah.
recently them start calling me a journeyman. You know what I mean? Which is real, and I'll take it because the reality is what I mean is like I just keep
Yeah.
trotting on and getting to the place where I've been aiming for a long time. But because of that, because it wasn't just like pew, take off, you know, because I had moments, had my first film, winning awards, release, Netflix, all the cool stuff,
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom. In a few years, and my next film come out, boom, and then now this is coming, Possession. So I've kind of been able to see how people's personalities and how they communicate with me changes based on that up and down. Where if it was just one, like, then they would just pick sides one time. But with me, it's like when I was making my first film and I was just crying, and everybody was like, "Yeah, man, great!" Just be it's an underdog thing, you know. So we
Yeah,
all
you're
want to
getting
root for the
encouraged.
underdog, right? But then when the thing take off now and start, and then people now want certain things from you, and you can't get them for whatever reason. All of a sudden, you're gone Hollywood, and you're this and you're that,
Think you're
or
better. Yeah.
exactly, or you may have an opinion on something that offends some people, and then them start say, "Oh, better must cool that like oh you're relevant years ago." Like I've gone through all of this.
What?
Oh yeah, who even knows about that film anymore? And then the next thing come and goes, all right, man, wrap them. Then them get, oh yeah, no, yeah, great. You know, so the thing go, you see people change, and there's only some people stay steady. You know what I mean?
And those are your people. That's the
Yeah,
lesson.
yeah. And sometimes you need to even, sometimes when you reach a certain level, you actually can more accurately find your people because they've also been on a long journey and have reached a certain level and they've also gone through the same thing as you. So now you can almost, it's like find your peers that you might be able to even have what feels like more genuine friendships with some of them, you know?
So
because
true.
you've gone through what you've gone through, you know?
Yeah, I think that's so important because even though we're all on our own journey, and I don't think anyone wants to have a friend that wants the same things as them, like exactly the same, because to me, they can't be your friend because they're always going to be in competition with you, but at least have the same mindset or they're on a journey. Those are the only persons that can really understand the ups and downs and just things that you go through in general. I remember having a friend that was just so unhappy in her life that if I ever said something like, I don't know why this person is treating me like this or why this is happening. And so she always used to just say sarcastic things like, oh yeah, man, they grudge you. Yeah, they really want to be like you, I'm sure. And in my head, I'm thinking like, wait, one, I didn't even say that. Like, but why is that bothering you so much? And then as years passed, I came to realize that she didn't like herself. So it was almost my existence was almost offensive to her. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like when I removed myself from that person and got around friends that had just the same journey as far as like they're trying to achieve something and people are always putting them down or people are, you know, attempting to take their kindness for weakness, because that's another thing. I've talked about that on here so many times, most recently with Rohan's daughter, Eden Marley, that when you're, you know, smiling all the time, and for me, I'm really small. So I'm like 5'2", I'm always smiling. And people take that and think they can talk to you anyway. And it's like, I'm kind. I'm not stupid. I'm quite educated actually, but just because I don't go around, you know, making that my personality, people think that they can, you know, as we say in Jamaica, take you for idiot. And it's like, you know, when you have that group of persons, just back to the original point, I think it makes life a little bit easier because you have persons that can say me too, or that can encourage you, or that can say, listen, man, just focus on what you have to do and kind of just keep you going. Because I think one of the hardest things to be is to be excellent. And I think it's because of the reasons that you said, because persons typically, not all, but typically don't want to see you do better than them. You see, when you're not really achieving or where you want to be, you'll get all the phone calls, all the quotes to your DMs, all the likes on your Instagram. But once they start saying award-winning storm, this is happening, this, it's just like crickets. you
Yeah.
know, and you're
Yeah.
thinking, I thought you wanted me here. I thought we were going
Yeah.
together, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's really and truly one of the hardest things to be, is to really want to be excellent at what you do.
Yeah, man, definitely. And to kind of just be balanced and stay humble about it, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean. It's like being humble about stuff is like a protection, because people are looking for a chink in your armor, and sometimes that's why when you make certain big statement about certain thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've had friends. It's interesting because I'm a very social person. Like, I do thrive in environments where I can speak freely and speak my ideas.
Yeah.
And I love to do that because actually I come up with ideas when I'm talking about them, you know?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Or like, yeah, I've had things that I've like flow state pitched entire scripts that I might have had the initial idea and then it just came, boom, like, and I would
Wow.
just say it, and
Yeah.
it gets my juices going. So I'm very good at like developing projects, bouncing ideas, and like, it's kind of just puts me into a state.
I
But
love
the
that.
thing about that is it requires other creatives and it requires a certain openness. And so I kind of want
Mm-hmm.
that type of community, but I've definitely had moments in my life where I've had people in that type of community around me who are also creatives, whether they're like visual artists or musicians or other types of creative, not always film. And you find, what I've found at least is there's a lot of people in creative competition with you that you don't realize. And I don't realize because, like, I know all the filmmakers out of Jamaica. Like, so if you're sitting beside me and we're good friends chatting, I know you're not like the next great filmmaker sitting beside me. I know you do something else, and I'm not really playing in your, even though I do visual art and I do music, like, I do a lot of art, but like,
Yeah.
I I'm not thinking, oh, this is my competition. I'm just thinking, oh, it's a fellow creative. Let me be open about it. And
Yeah.
I've come to find multiple people like this that I kind of let close to me. That the second them see a little crack in or something to criticize about me, them switch. And they're like, finally, like, yeah. And then come and them
Oof.
switch and them start disbone me and chat me, and it's just like, it's
Yep.
almost like they're like, I knew there was something
I
about this
knew.
guy.
Ooh,
You
took
know
the
what I'm
words out my
saying?
mouth. I
And
knew he
it
wasn't
just
perfect.
exactly. But they were easing up beside you.
Mm-hmm.
One, because they want to be around you.
Of course.
But then the second, what their real motive is, there's some creative competition there.
Yep.
And then, and then of course, if you have, what's weird about it is if you have people that you consider to be close friends and you might speak to them about personal things and think this is someone I can speak to about what I'm going through now, and they will be objective. And if there's something maybe that I have expressed that they disagree with or think, there's a
Yeah.
different way to go about it, they're going to say it to me as a friend because they care. What they do is they listen, them go, oh yeah, tell me more. And
Mm-hmm.
then they go away with that information. They don't give
Of
advice, they
course.
don't give a suggestion, and then they're trying to tear you down on the outside. But you know what beat them bad every time? Is I
Mm-hmm.
keep coming back and doing better work and putting it out in a bigger way every time.
Yep.
So them can chat, but they start looking like haters eventually. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And is
So
that
yeah,
why them not like you?
yeah, it keeps. So
Yeah, your resilience.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's unfortunate too because, as I say, you want this kind of community, but people reveal themselves eventually, and it makes you become
Always.
a bit much more like guarded about who you let around you, which is where I am right now, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can well imagine. It's just like you want these like quality, wholesome relationships, but it's just, I don't know, it's really, I don't even know. I was going to say it's really sad. But you know what? I don't want to say that because I think of something my dad always says, like anytime that happens, like I experience betrayal or anything like that, because I've been experiencing this since I was in prep school, right? My dad would always tell me, and still tells me to this day, you should be happy. You should thank the person,
yeah,
right? Because the sooner they reveal to you their intentions, you can say, okay, no
yeah,
hard feelings and
yeah,
move on,
yeah.
right? Because at the end of the day, God does not sleep. And you can think you're fooling me, but you're only fooling yourself. You have to live with yourself. I think that's what people like that don't understand. You, in that case, taking my business and chatting me and doing all these things, that's not gonna stop me. Like,
Yeah.
that's not, none of that is gonna stop me, because whatever is for me already. You know what I mean? So it's like, to me, you're doing yourself a disservice. It's almost as though you're frustrating yourself, because, as you said, you're so determined and you have this God-given gift that you're going to win regardless. It may seem like you lost. Maybe you didn't get a certain film, or something went on with a film that you were working on that wasn't in your favor. But that's just because that wasn't for you. That doesn't mean that you lost. But again, persons like that, if they don't say it, I've literally watched person's face in real time. Like, you can see it. It's like they smile, or they get you're telling them bad news and they're like, "What? So you mean that that really happened?" And you're thinking, "Why are they like, I'm telling you bad news. Like, what?" You know what I mean? But they can't help it, And so it's like, it's a gift. It's sad for us that want like that genuine connection, but at the end of the day, it's definitely a gift.
They would have been in the conversation or have access to certain things. Now them have to just hear about it and hear other people talk about it.
There you go. There you go. That's the prize that you've won.
Yeah.
So that was fun. And we got to talk a little extra things. So I think that's always good. I think one of the big responsibilities of filmmakers in general, but especially Caribbean filmmakers, I would say, not just Jamaican, is that you guys fundamentally change the way that Jamaica is seen. When I think of films or series like Sprinter, Better Mus Come, I think that tells a version of what Jamaica really is. And I say a version because obviously, just like anywhere in the world, we all live different lives. So I think that you're not saying every Jamaican has this experience or every Jamaican goes through that. But I think it's good to show different subsets of society anywhere. Your work, I think, consistently challenges the world to look beyond, as I said, the postcard version of Jamaica and of the Jamaican experiences and the stereotypes. So I want to go back to when you were little. Did you know that you always wanted to create, maybe not even films, but did you know that you always wanted to create maybe stories or tell stories?
Yeah, I always I was always creative. So I was always drawing or painting. I really got into photography, quite early. I grew up, I'm born and grew in Negril, Westmoreland, which is a beach town, kind of a hippie beach town. And, in addition to drawing and painting, I used to take pictures. That, one thing that's easy to get in those tourist towns is these little disposable cameras. Where pictures, you go so bam, bam, bam. And that was an easy gift. And I do remember getting those early on. And of course, back then, you couldn't see the picture you were taking. And you'd have to get them developed to kind of see what was happening. And I just had a very keen interest in like composition of the image and getting back and seeing what was really striking about one image or another. I really kind of honed in, just composition. I've always been into design. I've always been into poster design, signage, all that stuff.
Nice.
So I've always been creative. I was always encouraged to lean into my creativity by my parents. I have many brothers and sisters. I would say all of my siblings are like creatively talented.
Cool.
Then maybe half of us are like literally artists, like, author, visual artist. My brother Niall is also a director and does a lot of types of art forms. So it's been in us for a long time.
Yeah.
And every neighborhood, probably everywhere, but certainly in Jamaica, you have your neighborhood storyteller, and you in fact usually have a number of neighborhood storytellers.
Yeah.
And, this is a person that if there's a group of people sitting chatting, they're the most animated. They might hold the attention. They know how to like put some sauce on the story for it to like get the biggest reaction.
Yeah.
They act out like that is just a character in our communities, and I always was drawn to them, to listening to them, but also to learning from them how to tell a story in a way that's exciting, in a way that's particularly Jamaican, I guess. Because I feel like with Jamaicans, like we lean into we're full of audacity. we lean into the rudeness of things, we lean into the naughtiness of a story.
Yeah.
We, you can look at music, you can look at dancehall. Some of the coolest things about dancehall is how irreverent and like, did he just say that? Did she just say that? But you know what? It sounds good for the rhythm, and it gives you the
Right.
freedom to kind of be your most what do you call it? Your most playful, at times ridiculous self.
Yeah.
So that's just a feature of our storytelling. So I always, even in my work, even when I'm dealing with serious subject matter, there's always like a level of humor and, like some kind of thing that kind of releases the valve, the pressure valve, so that you can keep building it up. So I just learned storytelling naturally, growing up in Negril. And at a certain point, film just got me, like I remember, when you kind of come of age, early teens, emotions all over the place, like I would watch films and like I'd really be in them, really like emotional roller coaster, like I watch one movie about this type of person, and next thing like I'm gonna be that type of person in life.
Yeah.
And then, like I literally would, I remember watching like Braveheart when I was around that age, and thinking I will fight for my love, and I was like, "Rrr." So like I used to get really into it, and at some point I also just realized like that's why I'm a director, because I am making art and I'm wheeling and guiding multiple mediums and art forms. It's performance, acting, dialogue, etc. But it's also architecture. It's cinematography and just the power of the visual. It's costume design. You know what I mean? It's sound design and editing, and so like to me it's the ultimate art form, and it encompasses all other art forms. So that's why that's why I'm where I am, and why it's where I want to be.
That's beautiful. And I loved how you explain Jamaican storytelling. We had a Johnny Salmon on here last season, and he was talking about that as well. He was cracking me up. And he's so right. That's just a part of who we are. Like literally, you're born with the ability to tell stories. Now, obviously, as you perfectly explained, you usually have that one person that's like extra animated, or that person that they tell a story and they're not even trying to be funny, but they're just so dry in how they're telling it that they're just like naturally, funny. And when I think of persons that are naturally funny, of course, I think of Uncle Oliver Samuels.
In the movie, my dear ma'am, rain a fall. Rain a fall. And make sure me hear the rain on the zinc roof of the movie house. And me didn't know, me I said, Lord Jesus. When this is sitting here done now, if you go walk, if you go back down in the world for mud and thing there.
Yeah.
But actually, when I came out, when the show ended and I came out, to my surprise, out there dry. So me said to my brother, I'm sure with a lot of excitement, Lord, it's funny to way. What are we really that far in the show out here dry. And the boy look at me and said, I flame you idiot, you. Brad, I didn't know what he meant.
Yeah.
But all I know, and right at this minute, it still resonates. All I know is that I said to myself, me want to be now that the magic there too. That a magic, and me have to be now that the
Samuels.
magic.
We had him on the show too. And I mean, from he calls me or calls my dad and says hello, I'm laughing.
Yeah.
It's just some people just have that thing. And so I think even with a Johnny and with you explaining, and we also had a Melamine on here, you think like, let me not say put my perception on everybody. I used to think a director is just somebody that just directs, as the title says, like, oh, you just tell persons to do this and tell. But there is so much, having spoken to all of you and as we speak today, that goes into it. Like, it's really, you have to literally have that mind that you're describing where you're seeing everything and know you have to tell persons how to put your vision to life.
And it's not like you just have one big meeting and you lay it all out and you just like a set blueprint and everyone goes. No, you're constantly readjusting, dealing with this issue as it comes, dealing with the options you have as they develop, and you're making decisions constant. It's not like you just say, okay, we're gonna make all the decisions now and hit go and it's just gonna happen. No. Constant readjustment. As you're shooting, as you're gauging the temperature of the actors, as you are all this stuff, you're readjusting, and the ultimate goal is creating the best possible work with every element that you're dealing with. I might have had a vision for covering this one scene from all these angles, and I might have imagined some performance I was going to get from an actor that was going to be this way, but then on the day it's not that way. And time is running out and we can't go over. And all of these things. Now, the wrong move is to go, no, it has to be this way. This is how it is. It's the only way it's going to be. And do that if you want. But I'm going to achieve the best possible outcome given what I have at my fingertips. And I'm going to train myself to always do that so that my decision making gets better every time. You understand? So that I do make the deadline. I do get the performance that is the best I could have gotten, and it's constant readjustment. So, you have to be as passionate for the story. You can't get complacent because when you care less, then everything is impacted. And I stay passionate to the very, 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 very end. And I've also learned along the way what happens when your passion can dwindle a little bit because maybe there's some producers always second guessing what you say and they can beat you down. And it can cause you to withdraw a bit and just let things kind of go. But that is not the best way to do it. And this is not the best way to get the real artistic version of your work, the highest standard out there. It's to stay engaged and press the full way. Thankfully on Possession, which is by far the highest stakes, it was also by far the most comfortable and relaxed I've been directing. Wow. I think it would get scarier or because the stakes are so high.
Yeah, me too.
Indecision would come in and it's just like, no. It was just like chup. Part of it is life, you know what I mean? Like you gain confidence from just living and seeing cause and effect, and your decision making gets stronger. So that's a part of it, being more confident in what I know. But it's also getting to a level where your crew members are also really at a high level, and everyone understands that your vision is what guides the ship, and they see that you have a vision. Because I come to understand that there's some directors out here that don't always know what they want. So the costume designer shows up with 5 dresses. And you go, I don't know, just put them in one. That ain't gonna be me.
That
I'm gonna look at
safe.
every dress. I sound safe at all. I'm gonna look at every one, and and everything that's floating around in this creative endeavor is gonna analyze each based on that. I'm gonna tell you which one I think is the right one. And crew members really thrive on a direction. I mean, that's what a director is. Give direction.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah.
That's really your job, is to be decisive, give direction, and even if the options aren't what you imagine them to be, you choose the right one, the best one.
Since you brought it up, can you tell us a bit about Possession? We're getting kind of ahead, but since you brought it up now, I would love to hear more about that. And I'm definitely stunned that you find this to be your easiest role, because I would think it would be the hardest and most frightening, because as you said, the stakes are like so big in comparison to things that you've done previously.
I mean, but when you want something and you work towards something your whole life and it reaches, and then even against all odds it keeps moving forward, then you're there. You're no longer like trying to convince people that you're talented enough to do this. It's like, oh no, you're doing this. The reason you're in the driver's seat. You're not in the driver's seat to ask other people what they think. Of course, you're going to have collaborators, you're going to have people who use sounding boards, but you're ultimately the decision maker, and you need to own that and make those decisions. Possession, it's a 5-part limited series. It's set in both the UK and Jamaica, in both the present day and the 1700s, And it's just a powerful story. The scripts are amazing, written by Carla Chrome. She's a phenomenal writer, phenomenal all-around talent. And it's a story that is really head first diving into like some hard discussions about colonization, slavery, reparations, migration, and how much these things that molded the world we live in now. And we know it. Maybe a year or two ago we thought the world was past those things. I think everyone is pretty clear right now that we're not past those things, and there's actually people fighting very hard to turn the clock backwards. There's some UK minister make some statement recently about Jamaica and the colonies should be paying England reparations for all the development and investment they did. So like in this day and age, these conversations are still going on. Other issues of like maternal mortality rates in health centers being, way worse for Black women. Like there's a lot of things that are at play. There are a lot of things that are addressed in the show, but they're done in the form of a propulsive thriller. Like this is a thriller. This training, it's exciting, it moves. And to me, I think that's the best way to speak about heavy things. It's not to just have some talking heads. It's to have people on the edge of their seat and to insert this very important conversation into it. Yeah. Because when people get engaged, when you're watching something and you jump out of your chair, right?
You're invested.
You're invested. It gets you on a visceral level, and these other things to think about, it becomes more natural that you process them. And now you really have an opinion and you're not separated from the subject matter. You actually went through it. So on a larger sense, I think something we've been aiming to achieve with this show is to get people fully locked in, detained, viscerally connected to the story, and then it will force the conversations that are being had. And I think Carla did an amazing job weaving this story together that does just that. It was my honor and pleasure to execute it.
Definitely. Every director's dream is to incite conversations. And sometimes that's how we learn. So when someone's watching it, that could make them say, wait a minute, that really happened? And, press pause and Google. And we're fortunate enough to live in a time where we can do that, right? Because like our parents' generation and their parents' generation, they just had to take whatever was told to them at face value. And even us, really, like early on, before we had the internet and Google and all this other stuff, right? So I think that is really good because I think conversation and just in general, that's a form of education. That's how people learn. And that's how we can just progress as a society. Is there one question that you find yourself returning to every time you make a film? Like, do you start from just a general idea, or do you have like a question that you want to answer when creating a film?
I feel like I can't say there's a definite, but there are larger subjects that I lean into. One, there's a lot of gray area. It's not people aren't all the way good or all the way bad. And people can change, and it's usually raising the question of, does this person deserve redemption? I think that's the question I raise in a lot of my work, and I lean into is, do they deserve another chance? I mean, going back to my first film, Mus Come, the lead character is played by Sheldon Shepherd, who is also one of the leads in Possession, and that was another thing about Possession that's been a great I've just loved is the fact that these great Jamaican actors, to be able to like have them play characters, strong characters on a global stage and stand up in front of any international star and mash up the place, you know what I mean? As I've known they could always do, but not always get the opportunity to do. So people like Sheldon, Nadine Rawlins, there's amazing actors like Chantal Jackson, up-and-coming actors like Jeff Crossley. These are people I've known and worked with for a while, and they always stepped into this and shed it. And of course, it's amazing to work with people like Gugu Mbatha-Raw. I mean, she's a star. I've been a fan for so long. I rate her work. Jonny Lee Miller is a don. You know what I mean? So to be able to work with like international actors that I've always looked up to, and then to bring the Jamaican actors and be like, all right, let's play. That's key. But going back to what I was saying before, with Better Mus Come, my first film, the lead character basically is a bad man. He is a community leader who is a strong man in a neighborhood.
Yeah.
And, being a Jamaican, living in Jamaica, we know that we've had issues with crime forever, but particularly coming from the 1970s and the Cold War era, that ingrained a lot of criminality and criminal behavior into the society that has evolved. What I wanted to do was examine a character and say, who is this individual? Who are these individuals who may have lived a life of crime? Are they all the way bad? Are
Yeah.
there any
What's their
redeeming
story?
qualities? What's their story? Are there any redeeming qualities about them? And even if we then discover that there are redeeming qualities, are they able to be forgiven, or does karma still have to come get them for what the things they've done? I don't necessarily have the answer. I will pose an answer. I will present an outcome in the film. But is that the outcome that the person deserved or not? For example, in Mus Come, I don't want to give things away, but let's just say everyone is rooting for this guy because as much as we can see he's willing and able to be violent, we can see that there's a changed man there, and there's a man that wants to change. There's a man that does stand on some morality, and he has an opportunity to escape his community when it descends into violence. And he doesn't because he knows the community looks to him for leadership. And if he lets them down at the moment they need him, that is betraying a certain moral code. So he gets his family out of there and he returns. And, it ends up tragically. And people are cussing me about it. Why him never left? Why you never make him left? Why you never? But did he deserve to? But then you have to ask yourself, did this guy actually deserve to get away because you've had a chance to meet him and learn that he's a nice guy and he's a good-looking guy and him is a this and him is a that? No, you want him to live. What if he was the man coming through your window? Would you feel the same? Right? So these are the questions that I like to present in the work. And I feel like film at its best makes you ask questions. It doesn't give you different definitive. It's not a documentary. It's for you to go question and seek further and think and have conversations. Yeah.
You have directed actors, produced films, built teams, raised funding, I would say managed uncertainty. Which would you say has taught you the most about leadership?
Which of those roles or moments?
Yeah.
I think primarily is as a creative lead, and essentially being able to transfer my excitement and passion from a story into the people that I'm going to lead, but also work with to execute it, to get them as excited as I am. That is the most important. It's not just on the day on the shoot. It's that first meeting, pitching the idea to the person that's going to invest. I've told the story over and over and over and over, and I'm always telling the story, seeing what the reaction is, seeing what lands with people, and then making sure I reinforce that element, and you get better at telling it. And I'm literally a storyteller, not just executing the story on the day, but pitching the idea at the outset and essentially transferring my excitement and my vision to people so that they can see the vision. And even if they don't see exactly what I see, they see that they want to be a part of this because this is going to be something. A lot of times people just see how passionate you are.
Yeah, for sure.
And then they see what you've done and they go, okay, he really cares this much and he's able to do that. I want to be along for the ride with this. So that's my main thing, is keeping the spirit up and keeping the artistic drive, because there's a lot of administrative stuff that goes on. There's a long night, hard work, tension. I'm talking about with the crew, with this, with that.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff that I actually don't want to deal with personally. And really, thankfully, as a director, I often don't have to deal with, but everyone else has to deal with. And if they don't care about what they're making, then it kind of takes away the drive to make it through those tough moments. But if they care, then getting through these tough moments is a means to an end. So my thing is to keep the inspiration up, to keep the creative goal clear in everybody's mind, and to make them know that we're striving for something great. So all the little things we're going to have to deal with to get there are going to be worth it in the end, and we're going to be proud of it. And that's my thing. I'm like waving the banner, guiding the ship, and I'm the one that everyone knows. If he's at the helm, we're going to have something great in the end, and we're going to forget about these long nights. Ultimately, because we can sit back and say, yeah, we did that. And when our name is in the credits, we can say, yeah, feel we think that. You know what I mean?
I love
that's
that.
my goal. That's my goal. you know?
Beautifully said. I love that. Music, as I told you before we started, is very important to me. How important is music to you when you're creating a lot of these films or television series?
As
This
you
is
guys would know by now, and if you don't know, if you're new here, I absolutely love music. So I love the fact that during this episode, we talk about that relationship between music and film. I think it's so important and it just creates a feeling, as you're watching the film. So yeah, it just made me think of, I don't know, like some of my favorite old school songs, like You Make Me So Very Happy, and I'm so glad you came into my life. Oh, oh, oh,
it's essential. It's essential. It sets the atmosphere. If I step into a environment that's very humid, it's like I can feel the moisture in the air, I can smell it. When you're watching that environment on a screen, you can't feel the moisture or smell it unless you're watching like smell-o-vision or 4DX or one of these things where they spray water on you in the theater. But the reality, the
Right,
cinema,
exactly. Yeah.
those are something like extra. Cinema in its purest form, you're watching it on a screen and you're listening. And sound plays a very large role in filling that space with wetness and smell and atmosphere. Like sound makes the place feel thick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Visuals and light can do it, but sound is the thing that has like a visceral body feeling that gets the closest to filling in the gaps, the other gaps of so sound is essential. Music puts me into flow state, not like when I'm going in like an ideation thing. Music can sometimes guide edits, and I'm also someone that has spent a lot of time doing music videos, which is an art form that's purely driven by the music. So like the
Right, of
music for
course.
me
Yeah.
guides the visual, guides the edit. I mean, when we're editing, even before we have our score, we're using other reference tracks. And you can show an edit and people are like, oh, this isn't really working, and then you put the right music under it.
And it changes it. Yeah.
And there's multiple examples of that in Possession and in all of my work, where music takes over, where you actually think it's this fantastic visual that's making the scene work. But but the song that's playing on that visual is really what's going to let you cry.
Yeah.
It's what's going to let the hair stand up on your arm. It's what's going to make the visual go down
So
smooth.
true. Yeah,
So
for sure.
it's super key. I'm super in tune with music.
Yeah.
I've always played a intent, like a very hands-on role in it. For Possession, we have these amazing composers, Vince Pope and Ayanna Witter Johnson, phenomenal British Caribbean composers. They made a great score, when I tell you, a great score. And also, like this is a supernatural thriller, so it's a very much a genre piece. And
Okay.
with genre, while there is drama, where we're leaning into like a more heavy-handed or like direct work, and the score is really important for this type of thing that verges on horror.
Yeah.
And our goal was to make something that did all those things, was very atmospheric, but definitely had a Caribbean
Flair to it. Yeah.
And you think of Caribbean music as being fun, playful at times. So our goal was to take that like signature of sound and to kind of flip it and make it feel like tension, foreboding, like something bad is gonna happen, or something is gonna happen and you don't know when.
Yeah, you don't know if you want to be afraid or wind down to the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
Got
or
it.
afraid
Yeah.
while winding down to the ground.
Right.
So I think you
Oh
tell
my
the
gosh.
story again in score and music. Like
Yeah.
you direct the visual and then you tell the story again in song.
Yeah. When I think of film and music, think of Uncle Oliver and my dad telling me about the pantomime back in the day, them being like on the bandstand and Uncle Oliver being one of the persons in the play, and him talking about working with Miss Lou and how they incorporated music and, in that case, like acting stage.
Yeah.
And then I think of one of my favorite movies. I know I'm too young, some persons say, to know this movie, but Rockers is one of my favorite
Oh
movies.
yeah. Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
And The Harder They Come, of course, that's a classic. And so I wondered, have you ever considered, or will you consider making a film kind of like those films that talk about, what artists are maybe going through currently? Because I find that those are so classic because they're so real. Like in Rockers, seeing Uncle Robbie at the studio, and those are like, my dad tells me real things like that really happened. So have you ever considered doing anything like that?
Yeah, I have. And also Rockers was literally like our Bible for Better Must Come. For multiple reasons.
Ah,
One, it's like a docu-film. So it's a drama, but it's a
yeah.
docu-drama.
Yes, absolutely.
And so you can tell a lot of the dialogue was just coming from the actual
Yep.
actors, how they were dressed. I don't think there was any
Mm-hmm.
wardrobe. I think people were dressed how they dressed. So it's like Rockers is like a perfect time capsule capture of what would have been happening in Jamaica in what, 1977,
70s, I
78?
think. Yeah.
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 And Better Must Come is set in 1977,
That
78.
makes sense.
Yeah, Sam.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how the, and as we know, Jamaican language like evolves. So like how
Oh,
people were
yeah.
talking, the words they were using. So like I had my actors study that. I had costume designers study that. Like we studied that as our blueprint. So
Yeah,
just
that makes
Rockers is a
perfect sense. Wow.
special film for me. I love it.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely I'm interested in music stories, music biopics, stories where music and musicians are at the helm of it. Absolutely. It's something I've thought about, just stuff I'm thinking about. There's certain
I love
projects
that.
I've put some time into developing, other ones I'm in discussions about. So yeah, I definitely wanna go there and follow in that tradition, of like great musically driven
I
stories,
love that.
'Cause-
Well, I will be first in line to watch.
Definitely.
And I'll volunteer my dad and my uncles if you need some some
Yeah,
research
man.
background.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, last question before our rapid fire segment. If someone has never been to Jamaica and could only watch one of your films, which one would you choose and why?
Wow.
I know that's a deep one, but I have to ask.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think. Let me go through it. I think because Better Must Come is kind of a crime drama, and it
Hmm.
takes place in a political environment. I think it gives you a historical idea of where Jamaica's coming from, but it might give you the wrong idea of who Jamaica is currently. Um,
Okay, that's
I
valid.
think I think Possession honestly shows some of the most beautiful elements of Jamaica, but it is very much about the relationship between Jamaica and the UK and its colonial history. And so if you want to understand again historical global context, there's
Yeah.
that. I would say if it was one of them, maybe Sprinter,
Okay,
because Sprinter is really just
that's a
about
good one.
a coming of age young man,
Hmm.
talented athletically, and it is a bit more of a bit of a middle down the middle story, just about what the average Jamaican experience is,
Yeah, I would agree.
because
Yeah.
he has his own experiences, but there's the world around him, and then there's things like his mother has been away since he
Right.
was a child, and he's a kind of a barrel picnic, so to speak, and
Hmm.
that separation is extremely common across the country.
Very common and
Um,
intergenerationally as well.
Absolutely, and I mean,
Hmm.
it's known that like there's more people in the Jamaican diaspora than in Jamaica itself. So
Hmm.
so there's an element to understanding that. Obviously, there's an element to
Yeah.
understanding our like athletic prowess, which is very much of recent. I mean, it's coming from a way back, but we've been dominant in sprinting within the last few decades.
Yeah.
It's just showing a young person coming of age, going to parties, going to school. So I think that's probably the one for them
It's a
to
good
see.
answer. Yeah.
You know what I mean? If there was one, but the reality is they ain't one. You have to watch
You're
everything.
right. I was gonna say they kind of need to watch all of them to get a real
Yeah.
sense of Jamaica. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I agree. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a few questions, and I would like you to answer quickly with the first thing that comes to mind. Okay.
Okay, let's go.
All right. What is, or name one film that changed your life?
City of God.
Oh, okay. Your favorite Jamaican film?
Maybe Rockers.
Okay, yeah. I figured you were going to say that after you just explained. If you could have dinner with any musician, alive or deceased, who would it be and why?
Bob Marley. I
Okay.
mean, he's Bob Marley.
Self-explanatory.
The
Yeah.
ultimate Jamaican super. Anyway, it's rapid fire, so I don't need to go into the reasons.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I
but
definitely have to know I'd have
without
an
explanation.
with Bob Marley. Yeah.
Okay, love that. Love that. Who do you think is, I don't want to say underrated, but maybe not a well-known Jamaican actor that you think deserves more recognition? I'll phrase it like that.
Sheldon Shepherd.
Ah, I agree. He's an amazing
And Nadine Rollins.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, both of them.
Picture
And I
the
think they'll
two.
get more of that recognition when Possession comes out, honestly.
Love that. Love that.
Yeah.
What is an album that you never stop listening to?
Miles Davis. Kind of.
Okay.
Kind of blue, certainly. Yeah. The Congos album a lot too. Sorry.
Oh, you
Yeah.
said the Congos?
The Congos, yeah. Heart of the Congos called, yeah. The album.
Okay.
I listen to that a lot too. Yeah.
Okay. Do you listen to soca?
I do, but I feel like I don't listen to it casually. I listen to it
Okay.
when it's time, when I have a rum in my hand and I'm tripping down the road and
Gotcha.
winding up in the dance with the Empress. That's when I listen to it. Yeah.
Okay, got you. Okay, so you probably wouldn't know like soca songs then by name.
I know some.
Oh, you
for sure.
would? Okay, I wanted to give you
I
a
know
chance
some.
before I just asked the question. Okay.
Okay.
So name your, I would say, top 3 favorite soca songs or artists if you don't know the name of a song.
Top 3, I would say, well, Dollar Wine is key.
Oh, yeah, classic.
That gave us a good reason to wine up,
Yeah.
to do some whining with our, primary school crushes or whatever it was at the
Right.
time.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
There is a song by what is her name? Oh my God, I know her actually, and she
Patrice Roberts?
No, younger
Nyla?
Nyla. There's a song by
Nyla.
her,
Yeah.
where she's asking someone to forgive her. It's a big song.
Yeah. Oh
just
my
can't
God,
sing.
why can't I think? She's so talented, by the way.
So tell you, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I believe you,
yes.
but-
Okay. She's
That-
apologizing. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's Come Home. I don't know what it's called, but that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a tune. And then the last
It's
one.
a beautiful song. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last one, Blows and Skirt. Honestly, I don't know if there's a one, and this may not be soca, it's more calypso, but I just will say, I love old school calypso, and
Same.
I love calypso when it was in its political commentary.
Like Mighty Sparrow.
Mighty Sparrow.
Yeah.
I mean, the original rum and Coca-Cola. I could say that's
Yeah.
a calypso, but
Yeah.
I'll have that as my third because there was the remake to rum and Coca-Cola by some American sisters group that it was basically a popular song. They heard it. They turned it into this very drinking rum and Coca-Cola. But the original song is sung by Lord
Kitchener?
Might be Lord Kitchener, but I don't quote me on that. But the original
I'll have to
song
look that up or
was
ask my dad.
very interesting because it sounds playful, but it was a commentary on what was happening at the time. And there was, his commentary about some man getting married and his wife disappearing in a taxi with a soldier. And it was like
Mighty Sparrow.
Lord Invader. That's what it is.
Oh,
Lord Invader.
okay.
Roman
Lord
Coca-Cola.
Invader. Okay.
Perfect example of something that sounds playful, but it's getting at something that's a lot darker. So I really respect that whole genre.
So because I asked you that, I feel like this is going to be very hard, but I have to ask you, what are your top 2 favorite reggae and dancehall songs? I have to ask. I know.
That's impossible.
I know, but I have to. I feel like I have to balance it out. As Jamaicans, I can't not ask you that.
All right. Well. Let me try to just pose one. Even
Okay.
though I can't really have a favorite, but this one, for how meaningful it is, for the fact that this was my favorite artist growing up, and again for the fact that he's speaking about something really important, but it's wrapped in this idea of like kind of a bad man approach.
Okay.
And it's Look Into My Eyes by Bounty Killer.
Okay.
Right? In terms of reggae song, like there's so many. I mean, I think R by Bob Marley is really
that's one of my
poignant.
favorites.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I actually used to have the lyrics. I've written the lyrics on my wall
Yeah.
as a youth growing up. So that's one that really spoke to me. For many reasons, for the fact that he quoted Haile Selassie's speech,
Yeah.
and that act of incorporating a speech into song and what it was actually saying and what it would have meant at the time.
It's definitely hard to choose one, but I think that's because there's just, especially with reggae, so much quality in the storytelling and relatability alongside, obviously, the music, of course.
At its best, reggae is speaking to the soul of humans and to being more in tune with a higher consciousness. And it's also speaking towards equality and just the flaws in the system and the need to push against it. That's reggae in its highest form.
Reggae is a musical vibe going to the four corners of the world with the hope that through this music we may unite people of all race, all class, all color, all creed, all religion. Music, reggae music, is uniting the world.
When someone is watching one of your films 50 years from now, what do you hope that they feel after watching any one of your films?
What I want them to feel is, typically, and up until this time, the Caribbean has been seen as a place for vacations, as a place for other people to go and frolic and enjoy. And it's essentially a bit of a postcard world for other people to see. Therefore, what happens here, how we communicate, what matters to us is really seen through our lens. It's usually seen through the lens of the outsider. And what I want people to do when they sit in front of my films is realize, oh, this is a Jamaican storyteller. This is someone seeing the world from a Jamaican point of view and whose characters are behaving and making decisions based on that point of view. This is an insider looking out at the world. Caribbean people have a very particular understanding of the world. You could say Jamaicans, but all across the region we do.
I agree. Yeah, I
agree. The history of the Caribbean is really, it's not entirely unique, but it is in a way because racially we're so mixed up. The history of how various groups came here at various times, the way how people have mixed and meshed and developed culture. And I feel like I can say this about Jamaica, but I think it's true across the region. We're the ultimate remix people. We take the outside things, we take it in, we digest, we enjoy, and we recreate in our own way and put it back out. You know what I mean? So Caribbean people have a particular point of view, and I feel like my films, my TV, my visual work centers the Caribbean point of view, and that's what people should take away.
I love that. Beautifully said. So this is the part where I do my thank you, and I'm not going to stop telling people, but I would be crying, okay? It was such a pleasure speaking with you and getting to learn more about why you make films. I'm just always so interested in things like that. I think growing up in a household where there's just so much music and creativity around me, I just always am interested to hear like the story behind the persons that create that. And I think that more people need to know that. So I'm so happy, when persons like yourself trust me to come on here, you don't know the questions beforehand and just be like authentic, and share your story. So one of the most beautiful things I think about cinema is that, as I mentioned in that last question, long after you leave this earth, your stories still continue to live inside people who've experienced it, right? Whether they've experienced what's in the film or just experienced watching the film, whether it's they went with their mom and their mom's no longer here, or they went with a best friend and the best friend's no longer here. It kind of like creates a memory. And I think that's what your work has done for Jamaica. I think that you've reminded us that our stories don't really need permission to matter. I think that we grow up kind of being socialized to feel like we want to fit in with, you know, the US or the UK or everything that's not Jamaican. And I think our generation and the generations after us are learning that actually the opposite. People want to learn why we are the way that we are. And you help us take pride in that. And I think that our accents don't need subtitles to carry wisdom. I think you show that a lot. Our communities, our triumphs, our struggles, our humor, our humanity. I think that's something that people don't talk about enough. They deserve to be documented and done so with care. Like you said, as a Jamaican yourself, you're passionate. You're going to look at it through a certain lens and share it with the world in a way that we would want it shared, right? So I think that's just really brilliant that you've been able to do that. And I think lastly, because of your work, that generations to come won't simply inherit, you know, stories about Jamaica. Like we were talking about earlier, our parents and their parents just had to kind of like take things at face value. But through your storytelling, they'll inherit like true stories from Jamaica. So I just want to thank you for really choosing yourself, because by choosing yourself and going into this career so passionately, you've been able to do all those things that I said. And yeah, thank you for coming and thanks for talking to things with me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. That was really, I appreciate what you just said there, and
Of
I'm glad that
course.
that's how the work is viewed, and that is surely the intention for us to be proud and for us to tell stories from the inside outward and not try to fit into some Americanized ideal or other ideal. You know, we are the
Yeah.
prize. So
Yes, I
so we're
love
proud and
that.
all that. You know?
I
Yeah.
love that. Beautifully said. Beautifully said.
Make we have a time. Hey, yeah.